and I think they get a lot better and they get a lot of love and attention, and that's what we like to do in our program, is be super positive and build them up instead of tear them down, and I think that's how we're successful. So we have been here for 13 years. We've seen a lot of people come and go in athletics, and we're happy to be here. I ended up moving here because I love the town so much. We've won 9 out of the last 10 league and division titles. The thing about wrestling that I think is pretty cool is that it is an individual sport, but we treat it as a family and as a team. And so the team things do mean a lot to us because we are a team. We're a very close team. And so the cool thing about wrestling is you go to league, you go to tournaments all year, and we go to tournaments, and invariably after a match they go, "Where the heck is Durham?" And then you tell them, and that's usually after we've whipped them. And we heard that a lot this year. We have a really good team. Both boys and girls were phenomenal this year, and that's because we wrestle year round. And so we go to these big tournaments, and we're talking tournaments where we are by far the smallest school, and at the end, we placed in the top 10 in every tournament we went to, and that is tournaments down in Huntington Beach when 75 teams are there, Liberty, which is 75 teams. So we're going to giant tournaments, and we're always this year we're in the top 10, and it was our best year by far in, I think, our school's history.
We're also wrestling against the biggest schools. We're not wrestling in just our league and our level of schools. We're going against the 4,000 or 5,000 student schools, the biggest of the big.
And so our league and our division, which we've been dominant recently, is the small school situation. But we've also been in the top 5 at Masters the last 3 years, and that is all schools in the northern section. And this year we got 4th by a few points. We almost got 3rd, which would have been a team record. And then we went to state. And so in wrestling, you compete in the postseason, and you ultimately end up in one state tournament. There's no divisions. It's everybody in the state of California goes down to a 32-person bracket for girls and a 40-person bracket for boys. And in our school, we qualified 6 people to wrestle at state this year. That was a school record. And we had 2 state placers. We had another one of our seniors come a match away from placing at state. And so we had the most placers out of any team in Northern California. And our girls did something phenomenal that we couldn't believe that we were doing it when it happened. We brought the girls there. Our girls won Masters, which was the tournament. Basically every school from Merced up to Oregon were in one tournament, and we brought 6 girls in our first year as a team. We brought 6 girls and we won it. Wow. And so about unhappy people. And every other team there was very pissed off at Durham. They're like, "Who the hell is Durham, and why are you even here?" Because it was in the Sac Joaquin section. We're down in Stockton, and these teams like Tokay, Oakdale, Del Oro, that are perennial powerhouses, are like, "Who are you people, and why are you in our gym?" And so it was really fun to watch. Particularly the girls do that on that day. That in all the years we've been around wrestling, that was one of the most magical days that we've ever had. We always calling Robin and going, "You cannot believe what is happening right here." And so a lot of people in this room were there, and that was just something magical. And then the next week we went to state, and they just did amazing. Like I said, we had 2 state placers. We haven't had a state placer in Durham since the early 2000s. So it was just a phenomenal year. So I'd like to recognize the important people here, which are our wrestlers. I'll start with the boys, and I think I get into the girls here at the end. Yeah. So this is our division. Again, the 9th time they've won division in 10 years. We won by like 70 points, so it wasn't very close. They're getting tired of us winning, but at 115 pounds, he's a Masters, 2-time Masters placer, a Masters champion, a state qualifier. I remember finding him across the street. He moved in across the street. He was a tiny kid, and I go, "Hey, you're coming to wrestling practice today. I don't care what you say. You're going to come with me." And now he's in his sophomore year. He's a Masters champion. It's Yousuf Zigan. He did miss the workout this morning, though.
Congratulations. Yousuf, well done.
Edgar Alvarez, I didn't
right
see him
now.
here. Is Edgar here?
Yeah.
And Masters qualifier for the second year in a row, Maverick Davis. This next guy is a junior. It's his third year of wrestling, and he was a Masters placer this year, and he just had a tremendous season, and we're looking for big things in the future for him. Zane Kowalkowski. This is one of our, we call them blue chip freshmen. We got a couple of them this year that made an impact in the section early, and you are going to hear from him for several years in a row. We're hoping that he makes it to state this year and finishes out the season strong. Aaron Hernandez. The next kid is a senior. He's a three-time Masters placer. He's been wrestling in our program since he was in kindergarten. I remember my first year of coaching, he was running around with a Mr. Incredibles thing on, and he's been with us ever since. Again, he's a three-time Masters placer. We think he's going to be wrestling in college. We're figuring out where. Trent Sonstein. This is another one of the freshmen I was talking about. Had a great season, came a match away from placing at Masters, and we're going to hear about him a lot over the next 3 years. Noah Pettit. This next young man is a senior. He only wrestled for us for a couple years, but he did a great job, and we look forward to him actually coming back and coaching. We think he's going to make a great coach. And he was modeling for you a little bit out here earlier. We won't make him do that.
Well, either he's going to model or he's going to coach.
Austin Carricker. This is one of our outstanding wrestlers on the year. He's a senior. He's been wrestling for us since he was in 6th grade. He was a Masters champion, state qualifier, three-time Masters placer, one of our best wrestlers in history. Ethan Ownby. This young man was, we got him to come out late in the year because we needed somebody in his weight class. He came out and he picked it up really quickly. He's doing great. We're actually looking forward to seeing how well he does it with a full year of practice. And I think he's going to be just a great kid to have on the team. Dylan Bunch. This next young man came out late in the season. It was his first year of wrestling, and he was a senior. Again, we found him on campus because we needed a weight class filled. He did a great job filling in. Carlos Hernandez, is he here? Okay. Baby Rhino, this is our kid since 3rd grade. This kid has won pretty much as a wrestler. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He placed in the state of California at 220 pounds this year as a sophomore in high school. He's a Masters champion. He's a national place winner. In 8th grade, we took him all over the state of California and all over the United States to try to find somebody to beat him, and we were unable to do that just by taking him to Pennsylvania, all over California, wrestling everybody we could find, and he just keeps getting better and better and better, and I have a good feeling if he keeps working hard, he'll be Durham's first state champion ever, Jacob Christensen. Heavyweight. I don't think he's here, but Taylor Hyatt was a 2-time Masters placer. He came a match away from going to state this year. He had a great year. I mean, he's just a throwing machine. He's probably one of the funnest kids to watch for one period. He gets tired, but Taylor's just a great wrestler, and I don't think he's here, but anyway, he had a great year. So this is our varsity boys wrestling team.